They turn their backs on you. Man, I'm never going back. Man, I'm never going back. I put my faith in you. They turn their back.
What's up? This is Rebel Ray, your hostess with the most and Mrs.
Art Collins.
For sure. And we're coming today. This Friday has been a good Friday. A lot of focusing intention this week, getting things done, executing them, finishing strong.
Yeah.
Right? And we're always super excited. You know, we're always excited to plug Black businesses, of course.
Love doing that.
We love uplifting our Black businesses. So today, Rebel Ray is uplifting Rock's Handyman Services.
Okay.
Shout out to Rock's Handyman Services. They have installation, restoration, any type of repairs you need for the house or your businesses or the office. I use them for my office, keeping things in order, right? When you're a small business, we're a small nonprofit. We just need that one person to come in, handle things that are broke. Because, you know, Rebel pretty good myself.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good myself.
Yeah,
you know, about handling tools and I'm trying pretty handy. But it's nice to call someone in so I can go and do the director work. I can go do the consultation or the trainings and it still be taken care of. So you all can find him at area code 209-818-3654. His Gmail is ROCSHMSINC1@gmail.com. I will put his information in actually in the queue in the messaging. And the reason why I wanted to uplift him, like yourself, he was a hustler once upon a time before he put it on down and put down retirement. Like most of our Black and brown men, they're very ingenuity. Like they have genius about business. They have drive. And sometimes they're not afforded the same opportunity. So they make different choices. And fortunately, he learned that long ago that I needed to retire, but still keep that same mindset and skill set. So ROCKS really is his hidden acronym from when he used to be the Doughboy. So
ROCKS.
Yes. So he just changed.
He just flipped it around.
He just flipped it around. He changed his narrative and he pivoted. And a lot of people don't like to hear that, but we need to encourage our Black men, our young Black men. You know, when they're coming out the streets and they want to do some legit business, we support that, right? Because a lot of them, when they were hustling out there, I often would have these courageous conversations with individuals who sold dope and stuff like that. They sold it to the auntie and the mama, and they rationalized
their own auntie too.
Right, their own auntie. And they rationalized selling crack cocaine to individuals they love because they know where they was getting it from. So I could watch them while they were trying to still deal with their trauma response, which, you know, taking dope. And that's a normalization, right, that happens sometimes in our communities. But Rock, he decided to take his drive, to take his swag as a dope dealer and convert it. And so that's why he has his little T-shirts. He has his business cards. He did everything legit, process his business. So I want to shout out to you and encourage you, brother. Hopefully you get some business just from Rebel Ray, shout out, and just wearing your shirt, because it means a lot to the community. That once one of our famous guests, Pip Jefferson Strickland, said, he said, we used to hurt these communities once upon a time.
There was a time. Yeah.
And now it's time for us to give back and do something for the community. So when you open a small business, you're empowering yourself, you're empowering your family members, you're breaking the curse of poverty, you're breaking the curse of understanding of trying to get over and manipulate, but you're promoting love and harmony. You're empowering yourself.
Yeah, you are. You really are. And that's a positive, man. To see somebody to go through a certain experience and then to come out and change it around.
Yes. So I always uplift our youth, our young people, I would say our older millennials. We're now going on 40, between 40 and 45, the older millennials. And so we're really coming into like, how do I make my money work for me?
Exactly.
How do I get residual income? Where's my retirement plan? Because I
love
want a couple
hearing that word, residual.
Residual.
That's something. Man.
Residual. We need those. So shout out to him.
We need residuals.
So, we've been expanding. There's always been like this drive for excellence. We want to know more.
Yeah.
We want to chase the truth, whatever the truth is. And sometimes people's truths are bottled in a book.
Yeah. Sometimes they are.
And we get to perceive their truths through engaging and buying their books. And so we have been getting a lot of attention when it comes to authors, when it comes to different people who really want to reach out and support us in a way where they say, hey, I want to get my story out there, but Against All Odds tells it like it is. Against All Odds tells you it fits with my story.
It does.
So we want to do a shout out. Tune in next week. There's a lot of great, happy things happening next week.
A lot.
Art Collins will not be in the building physically, but he would definitely be with me in spirit here on Against All Odds. His business partner and sister-in-law, Rebel Ray, has to hold it down. We got to hold it down for family.
Got to, man.
But tell him the good news before I plug him with the next author.
Well, last year I didn't get a chance to walk the stage after receiving my degree, but next week I will be able to walk the stage.
Ooh,
and
amen,
that's what we all we grind for the expected end, right?
But not even the traditional expected end, because you were not your tradition. What was told for you and what was foreseen for you was not a degree, was not living past 40, was not, right? Those things we're trying to manifest. And guess what? You overcame that. And guess what? We're going to celebrate. And I wish, brother, I was there, like in person, like throwing my diploma hat at you, like, go. Because walking across that stage, I've walked across the stage 4 times in my life. And walking across the stage really does something for your self-esteem,
your confidence, everything.
But it is such a surreal moment in education. Like, dang, I finished, I persevered, I challenged my mind. It was hard eating noodles, eating sandwiches, trying to figure out how much gas I need to put in the car to get to my next. Dang, how much is this book? They want $195 for this book.
Hey, you really start, you know what I mean?
Listen, you feel me? So it when I tell you, I love academia. Like I love to learn, I love research, I love all those good things. But it's the bureaucracy and everything else you gotta go through for your degree, bro. And just so much money that you gotta put out, bro.
It is. People don't understand this.
Yeah, so a lot of times it discourages people who don't know how to face adversity. I can't talk.
Adversity.
Thank you.
It's okay.
Adversity in the face. It really can destroy your character. And if you go to like an Ivy League school because you want it to look good on your CV or resume, you really apply for jobs, right? You're gonna be paying.
Yeah.
And paying your student loans off for how long though?
Forever. If you don't got that job that's able to, give them some good payments,
Correct. Right.
You're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt.
I couldn't do it. The debt kind of overwhelmed me. So I couldn't really do the debt. So I was like, hey, this is the cap amount I want to pay. We're going to pay this off in 5 years. and don't get any more loans. They were throwing credit cards out to us when we were in school. When we first started going to Delta College, they wanted to throw debt at you.
Wow.
Like crazy. And you got to be very cognizant of your spending habits too. I'm not good with credit cards.
See, us as Black people, we have to get better with our credit, how we manage our money. You know what I mean? I'm speaking to myself too, because it's very important with your development, having a plan.
Yes.
We should even have a plan.
And everything.
We should have a spreadsheet.
Don't be acting hood.
We should have a spreadsheet put together, even with our personal finances.
All of that.
Let alone whatever other finances you're trying to.
Write it all down. Make it plain. If you want to execute a vision, you can't get that Birkin bag, honey. You can't get that Gucci bag. Like, there's some things that you need to execute so you can find funding for it, right? They didn't get the bag. Like, it's different. People are trying to keep up with the facade.
And they want the facade, yeah.
Right, they want the facade. And it's so easy to do the facade.
Anybody can do that.
On social media and live this whole double life. A lot of these social media personalities, they're individuals who are living in a 4x10 little room that you call a walk-in closet for an apartment, just to stay in higher end developments. They're paying $9,000 a month. I'm not making this up. They're trying to live the life.
They want to look a certain way.
They're leasing clothes, they're leasing shoes, and they're leasing cars.
But does this make any sense though? Like,
it does.
The money that you're spending to get all of this stuff,
they're getting
you could be using to save.
They're getting care credit, or they're using other socials and different things, whatever they got to do. And y'all thinking they building capital like that. If we were building residual capital like that, there will be more Black billionaires. But we're the most number one in America's highest spending economically on just what? Goods and services.
Yeah.
Black folks.
Yeah.
When that infomercial, that black and white infomercial dropped, and it was going around social media. Do you ever catch that? How to sell to the Negro? Do you remember that?
I think so.
Yeah.
That was very powerful.
It was very powerful.
Yeah, and true in many ways.
It was true in many ways because they programmed us to do that.
They did.
Willie Lynch, certain type of capital programming, let you know that your colorism is your color. If you're deeper melanated, you have a lower cost. So guess what? If you put this high-end Gucci on, you put this Louis on, that's why I be looking at these rappers. I be like, how much Louis Vuitton
I can understand.
I be like, how much Louis Vuitton can you have on? Louis eyebrows. Louis.
I can understand. I could understand if maybe you wanted to look a certain way because you were going to meet a Hollywood producer, and you wanted to, because looks are everything when you're in business.
When you're promoting yourself
and you're trying
market.
to.
I get that. But they don't teach all of that in school unless you go to business administration or whatever. That's like swag you gotta know.
Yeah.
Being in that whole element. That's a whole nother element. Hollywood, being in social media, that type of whole swag is a whole swag. You gotta constantly keep up with the trends. Rebel ain't trying to do all of that. I wanna be swagged out, but I don't wanna sell my soul for it.
Look,
it's too much.
I rather know that I have a lot of money in the account than to be feeling like I'm Richie Rich or somebody. You know what I mean? This is just
showing
me.
it on the outside?
On the outside. Now I don't mind.
You like to dress very flashy and fashionable, brother.
I don't mind showing it on the outside, right? If I got it on the inside, if that makes sense. But
if you're golden on the inside.
If I feel comfortable, I might go buy something. You know what I mean? I don't go splurge. I really don't. If I see that if I got it right now, and I have a reserve for that, you see what I'm saying? Everything else is taken care of. I got this, I'm not going into, and this is extra. Yeah, man, why not? I believe treat yourself.
I believe that too.
Smart, wisely.
Be wise about it and be wise about investments, and even the emotional investment you have in investments. That's in any business relationship too. You have to be emotionally invested, but also logical mind to pivot, to say what we're not going to do during this time, looking at your growth analysis, all kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
There's things to take in. But school is only just the gate opener of that. You have to still have real world experience.
Because some people got all the education in the
That's
world
right.
and working at McDonald's. Like,
part.
They
call on in IRS, they have a professional label that they tell you to put down. It's called professional student. And I have some colleagues who are professional students. They don't do the mommy thing. They don't do the kid thing. They don't really hold a job. They just have super degrees, like over 10 of them,
Going to school all the time.
Going to school all the time.
Comfortable in that element.
You have to be able to practically apply, or you're just learning, which is fine, but practically apply so you can use some of that, right?
Yeah.
So I'm so glad you have practically applied your degree, and you got your degree again in business, right?
Yeah.
And he is quite a business.
I got my degree in business because I knew that I needed to understand the aspects of business, like the back office. You know what I mean? It's easy to identify what you're doing with your business, but when it comes to the legalities of it, when it comes to the tax part of it,
all of that,
and just making
nobody
sure
don't
that
got time to be Wesley Snipes.
Look, I'm not
Brother Wesley, but we're not standing up in jail.
I'm not messing with the IRS. You know what I mean? I'm gonna. Yeah, I can't do it. So I got to figure out their game, and I got to figure out how to play their game.
Yeah.
So how can I do that? Educate myself and go to school. Now, as far as getting a degree, I don't really feel like a degree can help make you rich unless, you in your mind you're getting a business degree for something you're actually doing, or you're planning on getting a job.
So you would you had real world experience, and they set you down for it.
They did.
You were doing everything white collar was doing. I'm being honest.
Right. Yeah. True.
And they set you down for it.
They set me down for a long time.
Some of us have to actually go the school route.
Some people, but
because those opportunities that are afforded to other counterparts and other people, they're not afforded to us like that.
There's nothing wrong with the school route. The school route, to me, does not teach you how to be a millionaire. It doesn't teach you. It teaches you how to be a worker, not a boss. You see what I'm saying? So in my mind, I feel that, education is good. Get your education, but understand what you're getting in. Just don't get an education, just be getting it. Right. It's just a waste of time.
Right.
Have a goal on where you're trying to be outside of that education. You know what I mean? Like you're a therapist.
Right. So I got my BA in psychology.
Yeah, and you can
I did my MSW in social work. But the reason why I chose social work because I was seeing trends. Like, okay, there's so far that MFT that people were hiring MFTs, but with social work, it was so multi-tiered and it was so dimensional. It was multi-dimensional on what you could do with it and what you could start with it. I decided to go that route. Now, entry level, no money. It really is no money. You're overworking, you're burnt out. If you could transcend what you was talking about, the worker mentality, the social work mentality, you could be a social worker manager. You could be someone in medical where you run your own clinic and all the things that come from it, consulting
and
services,
so that was
grant writing, all
that was my point.
Come from it.
Like, so even what you got into, you can turn that into an actual business and edify yourself that way. Some people get degrees and there's no end to that degree. It's just work. It's going to work for somebody else.
So let me tell you, traditionally, I was told that. I had to unplay it from the matrix. I had to get around bosses because I was a boss. And I was getting targeted like I was a boss. But I didn't know and recognize who I was. So I had to get around boss mentality people. I had been around them, but guess what? I was doing the work for them. I was organizing. I was writing curriculum. I was writing programs and books and everything. But I wasn't getting the opportunity to really show that was Rachel behind that.
Yeah.
And you know who resonated with me, who a lot of people don't know? She wrote $1 million songs, Kelly Price. Kelly didn't fit the stereotype that they wanted her to be. If you all looked at the Kelly Price biopic, she talked about her story and how she wrote all these beautiful music for Babyface, P. Diddy, Ron Isley, different. They didn't want the big girl and the brown girl. She was too brown and she was too plus size. So they wanted her to get work done. They wanted her to do this. And you can always hear Kelly Price's connection to the church, which we traditionally grew up with.
You definitely can hear that.
You can hear it.
Her voice.
Yes, you can. And you can hear that anointing and that gift coming through. But they could not transcend this bias, this implicit bias of who she was. And that held her back. That prevented a glass ceiling. She could have been a major producer like, what's old boy's name that's a major producer? He was for Motown for a long time. And then he left.
Yeah.
What's his name? Quincy Jones.
Quincy Jones, yeah.
She was producing for Quincy Jones. She was writing and everything for Quincy Jones. And Quincy Jones automatically became wealthy. She had a lot of wealthy hits, residual hits. But it's stuff like that, when you don't know who you are, you don't know your power, you don't know how to manifest it and put it in line to make it work for you, then that's when it becomes a problem. It becomes a problem when you can't use the knowledge that you're putting out. Yeah. Yeah. And that was the problem that I keep running into traditionally, having a traditional mindset. You have to deprogram for the programming they're giving you. The programming is standardized. A lot of you guys struggle with standardized testing. Guess what? Maybe you're just not standard. You don't think in standard form. So you'll never pass their test. Get it? People don't think that way though.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense, but at the end of it, you have to have in your mind what your end result is, what your goal is. You know what I mean?
I agree.
I feel that if your goal is to be a good math teacher, then hey, if that's what you want.
That's what you want.
Life is about doing what you want to do. And if that's what you want to do, then great. But if you're that aspiring entrepreneur, that's like, hey, you know what? I'm going to teach math and I'm going to write a curriculum and I'm going to sell a book.
There you go.
With that curriculum
there
in
you
it.
Go.
And I'm going to make millions of dollars.
Let me tell you.
I'm just saying, what
I downloaded yesterday, and I shared this with you, brother. He that holds the pen holds the power. Yeah. It is not the one that has the ammo. It's the one that controls the narrative. It's the one that controls the narrative in history. Our history has been whited out to the point where we internalize that we're lesser, that we don't have the abilities to be great, to break the glass ceiling, right? We do. We have all of those abilities. It's that we were made in his image.
Yeah, we were. So
if you can understand just very shortly what his image means, what is God? What is omnipotent? I'm going to just be real. What is omnipresent? What is all-knowing? Who is all-powerful, over matter, can take matter, make anything that he wants? That's deep. So if you're made in that, call me by my name. Where that from? Erykah Badu. Erykah Badu be dropping gems and y'all don't be catching it. It'd be so much coding and so much information around you if you listen to the right thing. You can plug in. You can plug into all that information. I keep trying to tell people, just practice your mindfulness. Better tell Tyrone because he wasn't listening to her. He sure wasn't. That was the other side where we're allowed to be. Guess what? We have to sometimes tell people how to treat us because people will run all over you. I had this discussion, and as we're speaking, we're Art Collins and I are business people. So we always thinking about how we can expand our vision. And so Against All Odds Studios, we told you 2 weeks ago, was expanding, but the vision itself is expanding also. There will be a couple of more podcast business opportunities that are coming from Against All Odds Studio. We're super excited about it. Yeah, definitely. Super excited. Stay tuned because we're connecting people, but we're growing. We're growing in such a good way that you have to take notice. And the way we take notice is taking notice with our hearts, like supporting one another, supporting the movement. Yes. Supporting the struggle, the marathon, right? Whatever how you want to base it. However you want to say it. Against All Odds is doing that. We're in the building doing that. And so we're excited. And so we have a couple of great announcements that's going to be coming really soon. We're going to be introducing.
Man.
And we'll get some flyers out there to
Mhm.
you, but it's going
Powerful.
to be great. So I wanted to, we kind of got off subject because that's just what we do. We get like real deep and passionate in the way we talk about our love for what we're doing. And so kudos again to our Collins. He'll be walking.
Thank you.
He'll be walking. And like I said, that's a great feeling. So I wish I could have been there for you, but I'm gonna hold it down here.
Hey man, that's you already know what it is.
So next week we will be having author Edna Jones. Edna Jones is the author and the best-selling author and courage coach, speaker and actress. And so she hails from Indiana, and she has just released her book, "The Taking Courage: My Journey to Freedom." And so she will be here on Against All Odds next week. We'll be interviewing her about her books. Rebel gets to really look over the points of her books. And, I usually read a lot, and I read everything that's given to me.
I love to read.
And so
can't wait to read it.
We'll be really being encouraged and breaking down her book on next week. So shout out to Edna.
Shout out to Miss Edna. Yes.
You can go see her book and order her book at www.courage2go.com. And we support our own. She's African American female from Indiana.
Awesome.
That's right by Chicago, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not too far.
Yep. Same kind of style, same kind of grace, swag. It's nothing like Chicago men. I think Detroit men and Chicago men got like this swag. Like,
what about Cali men? I mean,
I can't stand Cali men. I'm
because
you've been
around Cali men.
Y'all are so just. We gotta have it our way. And is you buying that for us? And gas is high.
Everybody got different thoughts now. There's different types of Cali men, okay?
It's different types, but y'all one type. Y'all always got y'all hand out. Who gonna do it for us? Well, what about me? Can you pay for my dinner?
I don't believe in that.
Yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about.
And I'm from California. Well, actually, technically, I'm from California. I was born in Vegas. No. Is that what it is?
That's
Clark County,
even a worse combination, bro. That's the worst combination.
Vegas and California.
You got double scammer show out with the sun. They always want to drop their top, or their tires got to be real high. You got to see them coming. They wearing loud clothes. Look, does that sound like a black parent? They're wearing loud clothes, and they're showing their muscles in California.
So you can see the muscles.
So you can see their tattoos and stuff and their chiseled bodies. They're just walking around thinking they're the ones.
Yeah, that's right.
Could I ever be a black Karen, though? Could I ever be
a black Karen right now?
No. See, remember I told you about my pretend friend, the older lady I talked to in therapy when I hear crazy stuff? And I'll be like, Helen, are you there? Did you just hear that? That's crazy. Because, I'm a therapist. You can't tell nobody. It's confidential. So when you hear crazy stuff, you'll be like, oh, my God. Ooh, I'm going to drop this T too. Oh, I'm going to talk too. So I talked to my pretend friend, Helen. A lot of y'all don't know. I have a morbid sense of humor. Helen is Helen Lovejoy from Off The Simpsons. Do y'all know who Helen Lovejoy is?
No, who's that?
She's the first Karen of our century, of our pop culture, of our childhood. She was the first Karen.
From The Simpsons?
From The Simpsons. She's the one, oh, God, give it the love. Oh, my God, they're at it again. She's like the Miss Kravitz in the one in the window. She's always calling the police, calling her husband, get home. They're at it again. Wow. So when I need to tell somebody something, she's not a good keeper of the secrets, though. Helen is it. Helen Lovejoy is it. She tells it all.
Everybody has their own personal coping mechanisms with whatever it is that they're doing.
Mine is comedy. And sometimes it's not appropriate comedy. Sometimes it's morbid sense of humor. I mean, I was a mortician's kid for 30 years. Do you not think something's wrong up there? And I study psychology? Think about it. Just do the math. You don't have nothing to say. This is the time where
I actually got a lot to say, but...
Okay, well, let's talk about it.
But...
That's why we're here. I mean, we're going to have fun today. Like, we talk about a lot of serious topics. And
we do.
We just got to have fun plugging each other's businesses, loving one another, and really trying to process this thing we call life.
Because life is short, y'all. I mean, I was just thinking today, I was riding home, I was like, man, we are here one day and then gone the next day.
Yeah,
we will never be on this earth again.
And I don't know if I'm getting raptured up. So a lot of y'all don't believe in purgatory, but I'm gonna need y'all to believe in purgatory for Rebel Red, because depending on what comes at me,
but see,
I might be in heaven, I might be in purgatory. I ain't going to hell though. I ain't going to hell. I might be in purgatory. Where I gotta kind of wait a little bit and time out and then come out.
I know everybody wishes there was a purgatory who don't make it through them pearly gates, but I will say this, that I believe there's going to be a lot of surprises in heaven. You know what I mean? Like people you thought was going to be there,
I think so too.
Ain't going to be there. People that you thought that wasn't. Yeah. So we all got hope.
It's going to be like, you made it in. Look, you made it in, Melania. Let me stop.
Be like,
you made it in.
You
like, you made it in. Okay. Look, awkward.
Yeah.
We're gonna go down on Sunshine Boulevard over there and chill at Janae's house, because boy, we don't know. Did you?
I want to make it. We all want to make it. You know what I'm saying? I can't.
So do you think that they'll have like vaccine cards up there too to get in there? Okay, that's.
You're gonna need more than a vaccine card. I'll tell you that, because
we're gonna talk about that too, guys.
Deep, yeah.
That's deep with the whole mandatory vaccines. I don't really talk about a lot of politics, but historically, we know that individuals or lower socioeconomic oppressed individuals suffered from vaccine and drug pharmaceuticals not doing right. And when I say not doing right, experimenting on lower socioeconomic oppressed individuals through vaccines. So when you don't take into consideration for historical trauma that's happened, you don't understand resistance. And so for whatever reason, the universe, we have to test as we go on and do this and make sure that everybody stays safe. And an individual I met served in the military. He was a white male. He chose to tell me I decided not to get the vaccine because I got the anthrax vaccine when I was serving, and now I have a full disability. It hit his cardiovascular system.
How long?
He started seizing for years, he said.
How long did it take?
Have problems immediately.
So as soon as he got it?
Yeah, as soon as he got it. And then he started developing reoccurring problems over time when he got the
that was my only fear with this vaccine, being real.
Yeah. So they don't, and then some people are fighting insurance companies because I guess the governor and everyone else who's mandating vaccines, they're pushing, they didn't communicate, I don't know, and you are getting your insurance canceled and dropped off from your insurance. If you do happen to die and take this experimental drug, it is showing that insurance companies are fighting you more because it was considered an experimental drug. So
and go ahead. I wanted to plug somebody too, real quick.
Okay.
While we're talking about insurance companies, I want to plug Stephen and Debbie, Deb Russell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you have trust me, if you need anything in regards to insurance, yes, you need to reach out to them. Deb, if you're watching, put your plug down, please, because they helped me with my grandmother when my grandmother was going through her situation. I went through Stephen and Deb Russell. So if you are watching, please put put the plug down. But anyway, I just wanted to say that while we were talking about insurance.
Thank you for that plug. Yeah.
And I've actually been meaning to plug them too, and I just always forgot.
For sure. So, we've talked about them before when we had, what was the other insurance guy that was our friend? Andre. He came on and he talked about the need for insurance, and that was right in the middle of COVID, and we lost like 6 more community family members right after we made that show. It was crazy, right? But it's important to prepare your minds, guide your minds in a good way that it's always therapeutic. Practice self-care, people of color.
Man,
we're told that we have to put the family before everyone else, and we can't disgrace the family. There must be integrity, right? If you are suffering, if you're struggling in this pandemic with depression is real, y'all.
A lot of people are struggling with that.
If you're struggling,
that's
right? Suicide ideation. It's not all about praying and casting those thoughts down. It's about regulating your chemical hormones in your body, getting around individuals, taking in people who practice wanting to be happy, right? Not taking in a lot of negative energy or negativity around you. It's not good for you. You internalize that. Your ear hears it, right? So being gentle with yourself, coming from a therapeutic lens, coming from a trauma-informed lens, don't bash yourself. Oh, you're stupid. You should know this.
Never tell yourself that. Never.
If you notice that you're forgetting more, you're not eating, you're losing weight, there may be some anxiety. If you feel panic attacks are real. And I don't know why this is dropping in my spirit right now.
I had a heavy one.
I don't know why spirit just took this here. So anyone who is struggling with the panic attacks, you're not alone. There have been a lot of fear, stress, and trauma that has been happening from the unknown about the vaccine, how the government's handling things, on top of trying to figure out the economy, hold down housing, shelter, kids, be nice and present for your spouse, be nice and present to you. It's just a whole lot. Plus, people are losing individuals. So we have to be very diligent on our mental health. I always push that. I don't care. I'm going to beat a dead horse if I have to. Mental health matters. People of color, mental health matters. Stop normalizing pushing yourself, stressing yourself out. Stop normalizing that. Meditate. Some of y'all think that's voodoo. I will tell you when I'm doing voodoo. I will tell you. If I start doing voodoo, I'm going to tell you. I'm about to do an incantation. This is gone. Here's the candle. Y'all stop that. Stop with the misinformation that religion has given you. Know how to cope and keep your stress levels down. Meditation works. Mind over matter. Go somewhere quiet. Practice quiet. I am a loud person. I am animated. I am full of color, right? I celebrate those things now. They've been things that people...
You have to celebrate you.
Yes, you do.
You, like she said, you have to celebrate you. Stress, anxiety, fear. Though,
we come against those things. I don't know who I'm talking to right now. And I don't usually do all of this.
But fear will destroy you.
The spirit is talking to me. And I'm telling you, whoever is feeling like this, you can pray, right? But manifest peace around your home. You have to speak it out so your body can hear it, so your mind can hear it, so you guys can digest it. Start speaking peace around your home. If there's something that's around your home that you brought in your home and it started causing you trouble, that could be ideology, that could be a book, that could be symbols you don't know about. What else? Things that you bring into your atmosphere that's causing chaos. You don't know why you're acting the way you're acting. Everybody can't come to your house where you lay your head if you're sensitive, right? I don't know why I'm going here right now.
Go there. I mean, if you feel that, I mean, like, because you got a lot of people hurting out there right now.
Right.
You got a lot of people that right now at this very moment are going through some of the worst things that they have ever went through in their life. And some of them will never tell you.
No, they can't.
You know what I mean?
It's so normalized. We had loss after loss in COVID. It was like normal loss because people got older, but then they got sick with COVID, and that was like even a greater layer of loss. It hurt people. It hurt people to bury people back to back, 2 weeks, 1 week. One lady, she was telling her story. She had lost 4 cousins to COVID in 1 week. 4 cousins. She said, "These are cousins I grew up with. You know how everybody grow up underneath grandma's roof, and everybody come together and live underneath one roof. They were like brother sister cousins like that.
Wow.
And so she said it hurt her on a whole nother level. And COVID didn't allow people to go to the funerals. We have ritualistic funerals that we have to help cope with the grief cycle. So just like in the Bible, there were professional mourners. They actually mourned. They tore their clothes, depending on what sect of Judaism we were.
Yeah.
And they would ash themselves up, right? And they would mourn. It was like a time for mourning. It was real. When you take that away from someone's culture, that's a part of their healing method. We didn't get a chance to do that. They took that away at funerals. We couldn't see our loved ones. We had to say goodbye on TV screens and phones. We couldn't hold their hand when they died. We have to come back to empathy. We have to check on our brother. We have to check on our sister. And we have to reach out and see when someone is wanting pain, who's struggling with pain, I'm sorry, and who is in pain. Shout out to Joy Van. She says, I stopped inviting people into my home to protect my peace. Negative energy is powerful. Protecting my peace. Joy, Ashe, and Amen.
That is so real.
That is so real. You have to protect your peace of mind. We were just saying that. We were talking about that the other night. Protecting your peace of mind. When you're being strategic and you're building in your business, you can't tell everybody your plans. You can't tell everybody your visions. They're not going to execute it like you. Some people are going to infiltrate so they can take because they don't have the imagination or the intuition to create. Come on, somebody. Uh-oh, I'm talking.
You know, one thing that is so powerful is that some people don't realize how valuable they are.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so they devalue their self. And like you said, with these negative connotations of who they feel that they are.
Yes.
And really, God has given each of us a gift.
Yes.
I don't care what it is.
And some got multiple gifts, not just one.
Everybody in the world has something that they do, and you got to find that something, and you got to know,
develop it.
You got to develop it, and then on top of that, you have to be confident.
You can execute it.
To execute it, because sometimes, you know, our worst enemy is ourselves. You know, we doubt ourselves. We put ourselves down.
Yes.
Sometimes it ain't other people. Other people can see it, so they respond to how you treat you. You know, if you treat yourself low, they're going to treat
you that way, right? Because people are going to value how you value yourself. And a lot of times, I am very heart-led. Everyone knows this about me. Even though I have RBF, I struggle with that. You know what RBF is?
I was waiting on you to say the acronym. What is the acronym? Running back and forth.
You know how let's see if any of our listeners.
I say running back and forth. There you go.
Running back and forth. Well, it's rest and be face. That's what the world calls it. But a lot of time, resting, be face.
Okay.
So when everybody walks by, they be like, "Why does she look like that? She look mean, right?"
Because she has a resting B face.
Right. RBF. So when I walk by, a lot of people be like, "What?"
I'm confused.
I'll be like this. But I be like in deep thought, thinking about what I'm gonna do, and I got a real animated face. Yes, I have a real stern affect, right? So a lot of people be like, I don't know if I could read her, or she's approachable.
Maybe you should think in private.
Right. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
That was a joke.
You're funny. But it's changing the narrative. It's changing the actual narrative, right? So when I tell people that, like, I got RBF, I suffer from RBF, they be like, you are crazy, Rachel. I do, though. I got it from my mama. Like, people be like, your mama don't play, huh, Rachel? Coming up to the high school. My mama, let me tell you about my mama. She had a Holy Ghost filled walk. Like she had the Bible in one hand and a sword of salvation. Is it the sword of salvation?
Okay. The sword.
What's the armor?
The helmet of salvation.
And then what's the sword?
The
What's the name of the sword?
I
ain't super biblical like that.
The sword of the spirit. I mean,
oh, you better learn it. Soldier presents your arm. You better know that. Somebody look up the whole armor of truth, the whole armor of God. Look that up. What it's called? What the sword is? Okay.
It's the word of God, right?
I guess. So she had the Bible and the sword, but she had a real sword. You feel me?
You know,
and she'll come up there. She'll come up there walking. Boom, boom, boom. It was like some church music coming to get you. A boom, boom, boom.
I know, right?
A boom, boom, boom.
Watch
boom. A boom, boom, boom. A boom, boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom.
That's really how it was. It's still like that.
She'll walk up there, but just
it's like it's church music all around her,
right?
And you don't even see the
right. And she looked like this mighty woman prayer warrior thing, and you like, I'm about to get beat. I'm about to get beat in front of the principal. I'm about to be told because I shouldn't have been up here clowning. And that was my mom. So sometimes, like, it's crazy how we see characteristics, how we deal with things, right? You got to be gentle. You got to be gentle. Speaking of my mom, shout out to my mom. You know,
shout out
my
to
aunties would say, Rachel, your mom doesn't know, but you act just like your mom.
Wow.
When she was growing up.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because she was the protector too of the family. And I noticed playing that role, I was the protector of the family too.
She told me a story. I ain't gonna reveal the story, but it was so funny.
It was so funny.
Oh my God.
They had a lot of funny moments. It was 11 kids all together. My grandmother had, I think, 10 or 11 kids, and she lost 4. So she lost 4 children, 2 singles and 1 twin set of twins and births. And then, you know, she passed on because she gave birth, right? Some of the untold stories of the struggle of some of our mothers and grandmothers. But I never got to meet her. But my mother would tell us all these wonderful stories of the 7 girls she left behind. And the 7 girls would come together and they would have so much fun. Oh my God. And they all had different personalities and they're to be celebrated because I'm here. I'm here standing because they got each other all the way through adversity. Talk about against all odds.
That's tough. Yeah.
In Detroit, in Detroit, Michigan, in the 70s and 60s and 50s. So 50s, 60s, 70s. Father raising them with grandmothers. So maternal grandmother raised all 7 of them along with another set of kids in the house. So she had 2 daughters' kids, sets of kids in the house. And they loved each other, wore each other's clothes. That's when they
Do you think the love is different now than it was then?
What do you mean?
Like, I mean, like, you know, as you know, when you were growing up, when I was growing up, when they were growing up versus now, like, you know, do you think we're more unified or less?
It wasn't complex. It was simple. I love for you. There was like a moral compass. Like, there's some things you just didn't do. Like, you would never cuss and twerk in front of your grandmother. Some of the things that I see on YouTube, on some of these memes, they think it's funny. I've
seen some girls get beat. They were on camera, and the mom came in there with that belt and just started tearing them.
Yeah. And I don't believe in shame. I don't believe in shaming children. No. I don't believe in shaming people. So sometimes I'll use a more theoretical approach to get to things that I need done around the office, but I don't shame. And if I shame, it's more because I didn't know, right? And then when I don't know, I still correct. Like, I was wrong for that. And do it immediately. I do it to my kids. And that wasn't our upbringing. And it wasn't their upbringing. It was, I'm going to knock your block off if you even try to challenge me.
Man.
You hear what I'm saying? That's that culture.
Yeah.
You got a chomp block thrown at your, you could be as big as taller than your mama, and your mama, little mama, she's still mama. You didn't disrespect her house. You didn't come up in there any kind of, I don't know what's going on with the kids today. I'm not going to talk about the kids because I love them, but there's some things that we need to.
It's crazy. I mean,
we need to
you can shut a whole mall down.
Well,
I mean,
well,
that's just the age
hello,
it is.
somebody.
But anyway,
But they were shutting down the malls and the countertops and all that when we wanted civil rights. But we had a righteous cause behind it. Is there a righteous cause?
Fighting
over Jordan's? Did I say
being
that?
angry.
I'm sorry.
Just foolish things that don't mean anything.
All of that. We battle against evil, and that we must protect ourselves if we are to be victorious. They speak of the armor of God. I want to read this. I want to read who's the sword. Okay, the sword.
It's the word of God.
It says the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. Dude, why didn't you tell me that at first?
I did. I said the sword of the Spirit and the word of God.
The breastplate of righteousness. Doesn't it sound like a comic book? The breastplate of righteousness. The feet shod.
It does sound like
the helmet of salvation. The shield of faith. The gird of your loins. Doesn't it sound like that?
Mm-hmm.
Seriously,
girdeth up thou loins.
Girdeth up thou loins. Some of y'all couldn't even, if they went to swung the sword, y'all couldn't even dish out the way. Y'all like, where's the gird go?
Can you imagine being
People don't know those old words.
Can you imagine being in a war?
No.
Back then.
No.
Look, with the knife, I'm talking about the big swords, and you got thousands of men on the other side, thousands on this side.
Couldn't do it.
And they're all going at each other.
I'm gonna tell you where I would
be. For freedom.
Let me tell you where I would
back.
be. I'm gonna tell you where I would be. I'd be high up with a catapult. That'd be me. I'm
thinking about a way to win this war without dying. That's me. And in my mind, I'm like, that.
I don't know though.
That's a good idea.
You kind of seem like you white flag when you talk about I'm a survivor. Is you white flag?
I wouldn't white flag.
Is you? Huh?
Especially if you're trying to take our freedom.
I'm gonna tell you who you are.
I'm going all the way out to the death.
You're gonna negotiate somebody, but you're gonna tell them, listen, I'm gonna negotiate you. We're going to sell you, but I have a plan. The plan is you're gonna be the infiltrator. You're gonna act like that you're against us, like I'm with them. But I'm gonna be tricking them. That's your type of strategy you would do.
You want me to tell you my strategy, what I would do?
What?
I will surrender to the king who says that we're going to war with. If I feel like, that their numbers are comparable to the point where we would lose a lot of men and we would die.
Your chess game. Let me tell you, you are suffering these pawns all day.
But listen to what I'm saying.
Playing a pawn game,
No, yeah. But listen to what I'm saying. See, all of us had a meeting already prior to all of this, right? We're going to surrender and make them think we're going to sign documentation or whatever we got to do, papyrus leaves or whatever we got to sign to, you're running the territory. We're going to give you a tax. You know what I mean? And you are our new king, right? This is what I'm going to make them think. Yeah, right? But the whole time, you know what I mean? We're going to be getting stronger, right, in our territory. And on top of that, we're going to... Nobody can strike worse than a friend. If you think that I'm your friend,
that's the truth.
I can strike you at the helm. Mm-hmm. So guess what? Our goal would be to befriend this nation.
But you don't think that's expected of a king who's someone who just infiltrates and conquers and takes down whole kingdoms? He knows to keep his enemies super close. It
just depends on the war.
I'm gonna tell you who I want to be.
Who?
I want to be Esther. Let me tell you why Esther was a pimp.
Okay. Esther was
a pimp. Let me tell you why.
I'm not gonna say Esther was a pimp. But
listen,
Esther.
When I say a pimp, meaning
well,
she was able to infiltrate, play the game, play her part, play her role.
She was.
She understood she was a tool that she was using. She was being used to infiltrate and acknowledge and help the king acknowledge her people, so her people wouldn't perish. Mm-hmm. You have to be a cold strategist. It's a patient game. A lot of people who preach on Esther, they like to minimize who she was as a person. She was powerful.
She was brilliant.
And brilliant.
She was very wise. You know who was actually the one who was actually really brilliant?
Her uncle.
Mordecai.
That Mordecai.
Her uncle Mordecai was the one who was instructing her on every aspect.
But she used her beauty and her power too to maintain presence. Because it got, let me tell you, let me finish on this one. It got the king's eye out of all the wives he had. Come on now, don't play with me. Well, Mordecai told her. He told her what to do. And so what are we playing here? Are we playing this whole divine feminine masculine energy versus?
I'm just speaking facts.
I said it was
but
Esther.
She was brilliant.
Who was the warrior queen?
She was brilliant
and handled everything
because she did not have to listen to her uncle.
She didn't.
She saw that her uncle's wisdom was sound.
That's true.
Then, you know what she did? In the end, that made her even more brilliant.
That's true.
Was that after she took on what her uncle said, she herself came up with a plan to save her people by going before the king
she did.
And taking a chance of either being killed or banished. Killed or banished, went before the king
but she was what we call good trouble.
But see, she knew how he felt about her.
Our senator and congressman, God rest his soul, he said, be good trouble. She decided to take a stance, but Andre said, I got to read her book tomorrow now. Yes. She played strategy. She played a queen's game. So when you ever hear about a queen's game, think about how Esther maneuvered through the royal palace, just like a queen does. When your strategy, a queen can move anywhere she wants on the board. She can sacrifice whoever she wants, and she can get behind enemy lines. But she was playing a queen's game. She had to infiltrate up the back, around side, gain favor, stay there for a minute, patient game, hold your mouth, ladies. Somebody.
Listen, and
she held her mouth.
Let me tell you why her.
And they didn't talk about all the other hoes that was from all the other. Look.
She
had to deal with all of that. Esther, you think you all that? Esther, right?
Yeah, and on top of that, they had haters.
Yeah.
Haman.
He
was such a hater.
Didn't he?
Yeah, he hung on the same gallows that he had made for them because he thought that the king was going to allow them to be hung. Yeah, that's actually story. Andre, that's a sermon for you. Look.
I preached the sermon already. That's the from Rebel, because I the one got your revelation. Praise the Lord.
Listen, praise the Lord. Now listen, the devil meant it for bad.
Yes.
But the same gallows that was meant, they say gallows. Gallows is a hanging mechanism.
The gallows. But I'm going to take it one more step further. Haman was practicing witchcraft. Y'all know that. Whenever you try to manipulate somebody in the spirit, which he was trying to do the king that way, and he was trying to kill a whole race of individuals.
Yeah.
That is a whole nother level of power, you all. And it ain't the power that we're trying to omit.
Yeah.
We're trying to stay of the light. When you a sociopath like that, listen, I flip from spirit to psychological a lot. When you're a sociopath like that, you just want to kill people. You have to be stopped. Any means necessary.
He was the modern day Adolf Hitler at that time.
He sure was.
He wanted to destroy all of the Jews.
Yes, he wanted to wipe them out. Spirit, you see that same spirit transcend through time in the Bible. It catches it. It's a spirit that tries to get into man, and we call that the Antichrist. Hold on, I'm about to drop something.
Go ahead, drop them Jews now.
The Antichrist spirit gets into different world dictators, people of power, to manipulate and to challenge and to kill and destroy. And it's not just one time that it comes and transcends through time. It gets in different various mans through time. It uses different events. So if you're not open to it and you're not woke to see when it's happening and it coming against your people, that's why you have intercessors.
Yeah.
You have the gifts of the spirit to help you guys out. That's why he left the gifts. Because he knew evil was ever present. So if he left the gifts for you, you could fight for yourself. You can help yourself. So a lot of times it's not that we don't pray enough. It's the way we pray and what we say to protect us, to bring bounty, to set us up for success. There's different prayers, y'all.
There is.
And you can't when you do a surrenderance prayer, it has to be intentional, and you have to go out on faith and actually not do the things you say you're not going to do, right?
True.
But when you pray protection and you start seeing stuff in the spirit and you pray protection, that's a whole nother different prayer. You're not going to use the same words. Yeah. I learned that. Guess where I learned that from first? The real intercessors at the church. I learned that before, my powwows, my lodge sessions and circle facilitations with the indigenous people. All of them understand that there's something going on in the spiritual realm and that you have to see it to protect yourself. And I don't know who that was for right there too, but there's been like a push against, have you been feeling it? Like a spiritual push, or like it's been a struggle in the atmosphere?
Yeah, definitely a big struggle. And I think if you don't feel the struggle, then you don't feel then you're not here really.
Right, you're not present.
Because there's a lot that is like, and you know what I think it is? I think it's deep. I think it's a spiritual thing. I think there have been a flood of certain demons released on the earth that is causing different things. I think
disruption, chaos.
You never know where we at in the Bible right now.
Really?
I know
we're in a 7th church, Revelation.
Sometimes, what I mean.
How long is Revelation now?
I mean, we never know where we're at in aspect of Revelation. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying.
What if we were at the very end and didn't even realize it? What if we were at the middle of the end and didn't realize it? We don't know where we're at. We can see, based on what we're looking at. And
well, people who have the gift of sight, they know. But people rarely ever listen.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Well, I can't say nobody knows. Nobody knows the damn time that God is coming.
Can we tell you something? Was Nostradamus filled with the Holy Ghost?
Nostradamus.
Was he filled with the Holy Ghost, bro?
I don't know what he could have been. I don't know. He could have been. He was around the church. So Nostradamus
had this gift of sight.
And prophecy.
Sight is prophecy.
Mm-hmm.
So he wrote things down. These things
just
have come to pass.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So there are people with gifts and callings who are not in the church.
Well, what are some of the stuff that he prophesied about?
A lot of just like how society would be shaped and outcomes and events.
One thing about Nostradamus that for me, and I mean, you could even say same thing about Nat Turner. I mean, I think that like the Bible says, the gifts and the callings come without repentance. Some people, you had a prophet in the Bible that was a liar. He told lies. So you know what I mean? I think when people are gifted with certain gifts, I think there is a limit to what that gift is, but I think they can utilize it even if they are living a certain kind of way. And Nostradamus, one of the biggest things about Nostradamus is he predicted that they would dig him up, unearth him. You know what I mean? They say he predicted JFK's assassination. You know what I mean? And there was a term he mentioned in the Misty Woods, right? Which they thought that JFK was assassinated at a certain angle, right? In some of Nostradamus's literature, he predicted this is what they think that, and I'm not saying, I don't know. We're just talking. So right? I don't know whether it's true or whether it's not. Some of the stuff made sense with what they were saying. I'm just going to be honest, and how he wrote it, because it shows how he wrote it and how everything happened. But they're saying that somebody shot JFK not from up above, but from like a bush area, right? And they're saying Nostradamus predicted that, and he, you know what I mean? But there's several predictions.
He's seen certain things, but there's been
for the future.
There's been people who've had coded information passed down in music and art. They've tried to tell people about certain things. Michael was one of them.
Michael Jackson.
Yes.
Jackson.
How did you catch that this is it. That he knew certain things were happening.
Just
And a lot of people try to say that Michael and other geniuses were people who did not get it. They were totally locked in. They could
Mike was
see
not
certain
locked
things.
in. I'm sorry, I gotta disagree with you on that.
Oh my god.
I don't think Mike saw nothing. I think if Mike saw that coming,
you crazy right
yeah,
now?
I'm gonna just be real. I think if Mike saw that coming, Mike would have did way differently with his life.
First of all, he was doing way differently in life, and stop eating the narrative.
He died,
bro,
from an overdose of propofol.
Bro,
how are you changing?
Who was it administered by, bro?
His doctor, who gave permission and paid him over $100,000 a month to do it.
Stop.
This is facts.
The narrative. If I needed to hide an assassination, how would I do it?
Now, are we talking about JFK or are we talking about Michael Jackson?
Michael Jackson.
Okay, so
if I needed to hide an assassination, how would I do it? And we can get on controversial theories all day long.
No, but you're speaking
that.
of Michael Jackson being some sort of a prophet, or
bro.
And I'm gonna have to disagree.
I'm not saying that he wasn't a prophet, but
because of what happened to
certain things.
Let me tell you, I don't think
finish my thought. Please?
Yeah, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
The song "They Don't Care About Us," bro. Y'all listen to that. They don't even care about us. Listen to the protests. Listen to the historical things that he said in there. He's talking about the programming that they do to us. And even though we jump through hoops to have the privilege to do the things that we need to do, there are certain things that are put into place that we always mind who we are, who they say we are.
But where's the prediction? Where's the prophecy in that?
There's different levels of prophecy, bro. Hold on.
Okay.
There's different levels.
I'm gonna give you a chance to speak, but I need a chance to speak too.
Okay.
So
some people who are intercessors, some people who have the gift of sight, some people who understand and can see people's intention. They have the spirit of.
But how though? How did? Because you spoke on him having this.
That's a sight.
Okay, and I want to know.
And I'll tell you how. He was prophetic in how he tried to tell individuals, how he tried to warn people, how he tried to expose people to creativeness, to his creative genius. A lot of artists have done that. There are different ways of intelligence, and there's different ways that spirit lead us.
No, I agree.
He was a creative genius of our time, and we lost him. The same thing with Prince.
Okay, so I'm sticking on one thing right now, because and the thing I'm sticking on is when you spoke about him being a source of prophetic energy, right? Now, yeah, when he said this is it, he said this is it. I don't think he knew that this was it, right? But I believe that the spiritual realm was showing the whole world, right? Look, this man is about to fall, and guess what? He's speaking his own. Oh, God. He's speaking his own destiny.
Goes this whole
Can I finish?
No.
But I mean, can I finish? Because you do talk.
Oh my God.
You talk over me. So listen. So I think Michael Jackson, right? This is it. Him saying this is it. I'm gonna just be real. I don't think he prophesied that. I think that this was a spiritual thing, right? And we all seen before our eyes, just like Biggie Smalls. He had on his album cover "Life After Death." I believe he spoke that into his life. I don't think he foresaw that coming. Now, Tupac, right? I think as much as he talked about death, I don't even think he saw that coming. Yeah, he spoke it into his life.
You are not making a connection, bro. I'm sad right now. You have to understand we have the power in the death, the power in the tongue, and death, power in the tongue and our words.
I agree with that.
We can manifest things that maybe that's not where our life path had to be. But when you have an environment, you manifest like all four of those individuals did, and you have the power that you have, whether it be influence and the creative genius of your creator, you're manifesting big power. So don't tell me any of those individuals were not geniuses, because
I never said they weren't geniuses, Rachel. This is what
I said. Not have.
I said they're not prophets. They don't have prophetic power.
Then they did not have the gift of sight. And I told you that Michael was trying to channel and tell us some things in his music. If you are really a person who really listens to music, you'll listen to
I'm not disagreeing with that at all.
But that's prophetic in itself to be able to do that.
Well,
To be
I
able
disagree.
to warn and understand in the spiritual realm what's
Well, then
happening.
you must be
and
speaking
then-
about a different realm of prophecy. It's a word. That's not a word, but you may be speaking of a different realm of prophecy. Like
there's a different realm of prophecy. What are you talking about?
What I'm speaking about is direct prophecy, right? Hear me out, right?
I'm listening.
Prophecy is you speaking about something coming to pass, and it does. That's prophecy. Now, I don't believe he was a prophet. I believe that I believe he spoke it into his life. That's what I believe. I believe this is it. All of that. I believe spiritually, we all seen that, like Nipsey Hussle. You see in one of his videos, he walking across the graveside. Now he's in the grave. I think some of these people do certain things.
That's different. But
I think
they do see things and they try to warn us. Many have saw things that were enlightenment that was given to them. They try to tell us in their art of storytelling. That's how information was passed down to man the very first time. It wasn't written down, y'all. Y'all have to know how man has transcended. It was the art of storytelling. It was the art of chorus, songs. You pass information of your forefathers. You told the stories of your ancestors and how they made it over and all that good stuff through song, through chorus, right? So that's why when individuals that are geniuses, Amadeus Mozart, different individuals who were geniuses in their music genre were able to convey truth in their music, but also tap into like, this is something you need to pay attention to. This is where it's going to get to. Like Time for me, by, I forgot what rock band that is. Help me, Janae. I love that. I love that classic Time. You hear that? You hear it?
Time keeps on ticking.
Yes.
Yeah,
it was a lot of coded information.
I thought about doing a song to that.
Yeah, there was a lot of coded information in there.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to listen to it, and it came out during Vietnam, but people made songs to tell the masses, this is not right. A psalmist is in tune. Mm-hmm. He or she is an empath, so they feel people. They bring in music to transcend, to enlighten. That's why people listen to music. Do you know that music changes your mood?
It does.
So whatever music that you put into your spirit, you'll start acting like that, right? So sometimes I have to change it up. I have to do my classical. I have to do my hip hop. I have to do my different whatever. I love music, right? We cope with music and emotions. But these individuals became powerful when they were able to have that stage, that level of influence, and tell the story because the stuff was revealed to them later on. Michael wasn't like that when he was a kid. He was probably sensitive, which they say he was.
Yeah, he was very sensitive.
But they said he was an excellent businessman. He was almost cutthroat how he handled the industry. He learned things. I hate when they bash Michael because they try to take his narrative and they try
I love Mike, like in the sense of, you know what? Throughout the years, like growing up as a kid, I loved Mike in totality, like his personality, his skills, and as time went on, there were things about Mike that just didn't rub me the right way, and it ain't had nothing to do with the charges that were brought against him, anything like that. It was just some of the shows that I used to watch about him and some of the things he would say. You know, Mike would lie.
Really?
Yeah, look, if you just watch the 2020 special of him with what is his name? I forgot his name, but he spoke about his wife, right? He spoke about and this is before anybody ever seen her. Like you guys really like I was such a Mike fan. I would watch all the interviews, everything, right?
Okay.
But Mike said
most 80s babies kids were. So
yeah, Mike said that his wife was black on the interview. Go back. If y'all think I'm lying, I'm telling you.
But why do you think that?
Huh?
Where did that come from? A lot of our pathology, the reason why we do things is from trauma.
His baby mama, excuse me.
Okay, but
the mother of his kids
was his daddy?
Black.
Who was his daddy?
Who
was his daddy?
About, I mean, we all know who his dad was.
Who was the daddy one? Who was daddy?
Like his name?
Mr. Joe Jackson.
Yeah.
Mr. Joe Jackson didn't play with those kids. Let's just talk about it.
No.
So a lot of times, coping with trauma, you make things up because you have a response bias. Just look at it from this angle. So if you teach yourself to say something to make yourself attracted to the majority, so you can stay relevant, so you can stay likable, things just certainly slip out sometimes.
Man, it slipped out a lot. Hey,
we call it a lie, but what he was doing was he was trying to be relatable, acceptable, and all. It was the black. He couldn't let the black community down when it came to that. He knew that.
I'm one of those dudes who I'm not one of those guys who go with the herd, right? Now a lot of people.
Marcel said, "Just agree with her. You won't win."
A lot of people.
Marcel, shout out to Marcel Padilla. Hey, you owe me lunch.
A lot of people go with what everybody says. Like me, I give a person a chance to show and prove as a person, right? Now, as a kid, I had the jacket with all the zippers on it. I was in the mirror, singing the song. I was.
You had like the Z-line zipper?
Yeah, they were Z-line zippers, the black.
Thriller!
I was in the mirror doing the Thriller. I was in the... Hey, and that was a scary video. I was scared of that video. I ain't gonna lie, that video traumatized me as a kid. I swear, you know how in the end, how the eyes got red? Oh, that got me as a kid. But hey,
I was like that. Oh, boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom.
Hey, but that was the jam, though. I ain't even gonna lie. Hey, I used to love that song.
That's what I'm saying. He was a creative genius, and they try to steal that from him by hitting him with that he was touching on little boys. Mike had all kind of everything getting thrown at him.
Mike, we love you, Mike, but I don't know. It's just some see, I'm one of those dudes. I'm not gonna point the finger at Mike, right?
Bro, something happened to him psychological though.
But I will say, Mike is either that or he's not he doesn't have common sense. It's either one or the other.
He said I think it was Oprah that was interviewing him, and I felt so bad for him. He said, "You don't know like how it is about at night when you're 9, 10, 11, 12, somebody gets into your hotel room and she's naked and she just wants to sleep with you. You don't know how to feel when you're a little kid. You become scared." And I'm thinking,
where's your parents, your manager,
I'm thinking the bad little kids I know, they like, come on over here.
I'm like, where's everybody at? Now look.
These little kids I know that they like,
listen,
you 21, 22? Don't worry about it. Like my uncle told me
But you gotta understand how sheltered he was.
He was super sheltered.
He was extremely sheltered, and he had insecurities. You know what I mean? He didn't he would break out on his face. He didn't like how he looked.
Yeah.
He didn't like there was things about himself that caused a lot of other issues. But going back,
go ahead.
No, but going back to him being a legend, yeah, Mike is a legend. But there's just things about Mike now. You know what I mean? That I just
you don't want
that just don't sit right with me.
You don't want to get jumped on.
I don't care.
There used to be a Michael Jackson fan base that will hunt you.
Listen, listen. First of all,
before
disclosure, I'm a Mike fan to this day. Like. There's times I throw on some Mike, right? Mm-hmm. But look, me, I keep it 100, and it ain't got nothing to do with who he is, whatever. I keep it 100. He could have been my family member, and I'm gonna keep it real, right? Just for me, I wouldn't sleep in a bed with kids. I don't like. I wouldn't do stuff like that.
Chronologically, if your trauma brain mind says that you're this age, you don't always congruently have the same age as your physical person. He knows he's supposed to be responsible, act this and do this. Now, I'm just trying to explain the whole narrative of the pedophilia, because I don't believe the pedophilia to a point, but again, you don't question victims, and some of the victims have been kind of shaky. So it's just really hard to say that as an advocate, because I'm a Black woman too, and I've seen how they did our Black men. So That's
It's
kind of
almost like
hard.
this.
So if anybody's watching, talking about Rachel social justice, she's a trauma advocacy. Yes, I am. But I also know the setup, and the setup has happened in the Black community and with our Black high dominant excellence. It's happened with an attack against them, right?
It is. But look,
so you have to be careful with saying you don't know what the setup was. You feel me?
I'm gonna have to say this, and this is facts, right? One thing that we as Black men need to stay away from, period, right?
What's that?
Okay, if we want to proclaim our innocence, don't give the people something to think that you're not innocent. And I'm not saying, right? If I'm driving a car, right, and the cop comes, and we already know that people get killed from reaching.
Yes.
What is that telling me?
Why would you reach?
Don't reach, right? But yet we want to get angry with the cop. We know that people that cuss the cop out sometimes get popped.
That's going to allow them to be apprehensive.
So why would we do that, right?
Right.
And then when we do get shot, everybody comes out and starts marching. Like so look.
Okay. You gotta clean it up a little bit.
No, I'm not gonna clean it. I'm not gonna clean it up.
You really generalize this now.
I'm not gonna clean that up.
I'm not gonna agree with that.
You don't look, but hear me out. I'm not gonna clean it up. So one thing about us Black men, we have to be careful. We cannot look, if we know that the cop is going to pop us, do not give the world a read. Look, I'd rather, if I do get shot, I'm getting shot with my hands up or going to court with them not throwing nothing against me. I'm going to be the victim in the whole thing. They're not going to say I reached for my gun. They're not going to say I gave my. But hear me out, Rachel. They're not going to say I reached for my gun. They're not going to say that I cussed them out. They're not going to say. They're not going to say any of that unless they lie. You see what I'm saying? This is what I can't stand. Some of the things that we do as Black people, right? And this goes, I'm gonna make some people mad right now, but I can give two whatevers, right? Listen, do not go on TV up picketing and protesting, you know what I'm saying? And you didn't have a gun on you, right? You had a gun on you. And the
gun. There's nothing wrong with your Second Amendment.
Okay, some people practice their Second Amendment rights.
Okay, so what does that mean?
Some people don't practice their Second Amendment rights.
They don't carry.
Some people don't have paperwork for their gun.
Okay, so be legally carrying.
Be legally carrying. Some people.
So what happens?
So even if you do have a gun, right, that is legal, some of us are foolish with how we interact with the police, right? Look, we have to be very smart. Some of us, look, you got a legal gun. We know that these folks like to clip us. Don't go grabbing a gun before you telling the officer that you got a gun. Tell them, listen, I have a gun. It's legal. Okay. You see what I'm saying?
But they tell you that in training, and those individuals who are not handling their gun or not respecting the gun, that's your bad, like in anything.
So this is my point, Rachel. Rebel.
We will not generalize, or we will not normalize the victimization of Black people in America. We will not do it no more. When Karen, when Darren, and when Sharon decides to go off, I don't think you understand what I'm saying. This is why you're against what I'm saying. Let me finish.
Mm-hmm.
And take the baton of the individual who is supposed to be the law enforcement and live through all of that. There is racial and implicit bias exchange that's happening between law enforcement historically. But what I'm trying to say is, as you're describing what you're saying, you're missing some context.
But we're not white. So we have to move differently.
You're missing some context, so some people don't understand that. You left all that out. See, you assume that
you didn't let me finish.
You assume the viewer and the listener understood what you were saying.
You didn't let me finish. I was trying to get to the point, and you went and
finish. You have to be very careful how we even break things down, Art Collins, because There are people out there who believe like you. Oh, if they wouldn't have ran, if they wouldn't have,
this is how I know that you're not giving me a chance to finish. Because what you're going to say that I'm saying is that I am with the whole narrative of people that are saying that it was that black person's fault for getting shot because he ran. This is what you're saying, and I'm saying, and I'm not saying that.
I'm not saying that.
What I'm saying is don't be dumb as people. Like, don't be foolish. Like if we know that doing this can cause us to get this, that's foolish. Like, we have to understand the skin that we are in. Like, white people don't have that issue. You know what I mean? Because
that's the whole point I'm making. You want us to continually be docile and subservient, and you want us to not, you want us to be smart, right? But that's survival mode. That's not listening. That's not living. So what I'm asking you is to reframe how we should carry ourselves. We should not be docile. We should not cower when the police come. We should speak with a professional tone, a tone that's respectful, right? And I think that's what Art Collins was talking about, being foolish sometimes, right? But being dumb is not one of them. And I'm going to tell you why. There is real PTSD.
I get it. But you got to be smart with that PTSD or you will get yourself killed. Don't make an excuse for these people. Because I'm going to tell you, I'm a black man. I'm a black man riding around every day. When I see the cops, my heart is beating. I'm getting over. I'm getting away from them. I don't need that kind of drama. But some of us, right? And this makes me mad. And me, in my mind, I want to say, you know what? You know, that brother, of course, murder is wrong in any way, shape, or form. If you kill somebody for whatever, it's wrong, right? So if a cop comes and kills a black man who didn't pull out a gun on him and try to shoot him, that cop is wrong, period. But what I don't like is when we want every black person to get behind you when you were sitting there cussing a cop out, F you, and giving them a reason. Like, why would we do that? That's ignorance. Like, look, guess what? To me, in my opinion, and I'm not saying everybody does that, but to the ones that do, you know what I mean? I would be more willing to get behind a black man or woman who handled themselves accordingly in a situation like that. You know what I'm saying? And I would rather hear the news. This is the news clipping that I would get behind. Unarmed black man, cop came to the car and just shot him. He didn't cuss him out. He didn't reach. He didn't do nothing. You see what I'm saying? But this is the kind of narrative I really don't like getting behind, is when the person is giving them every reason.
So you said, so let me say this and we're going to move on. You sat there with the narrative. You only told one narrative. There were 5 different perspectives in that narrative and storyline who were there, per se, right? That saw 5 different perspectives, that saw 5 different truths, okay? Of that, what are we continually seeing the patterns of all the perspectives of the world? That is implicit bias. That's intrinsic to innate fear. So when you have moral panic, when you have fear mongering that happens with certain power, Black people, Latino people, people of color tend to be oppressed. There's just certain patterns. I'm not talking about how we respond per se, because I understand why we respond. We respond with sacred rage. We respond in fear. There are 5 responses that we initially see: fight, flight, fawn, would you just constantly agree with the person and the oppressor, freeze, okay? There's so many responses. And then some people are hypervigilant. They're looking around and they're screaming at the top of their lungs because they know. When George Floyd died, he said, I don't want to die, sir, not today. I don't want to die. I just lost my mom. Yes, I'm high, sir. Please, I'm not. He was telling you crisis points then. The police didn't have a trained ear to hear it. All they saw was a big Black man that was under influence and he needed to be put down. That's what they saw. When I say put down, controlled in a manner where they can subdue him and take him into arrest. Okay? It escalated without a trauma-informed response. It escalated without understanding the cultural trauma. It escalated because the lack of education that our police officers do and train in when it comes to people of color. They do not keep that in mind. That's all I'm asking you to do. Do not generalize our response. I hate when Black people do.
I am going to generalize it.
Ask how and why. Ask how and why we act the way we do.
I'm Black. I know why. I did 10 years in prison.
Listen,
if anybody knows why, I know why.
Bro, you have a platform that you're just not talking to Black folks, bro. So I'm asking you to be clear on how you say certain things, because now you have a platform, you have influence. Our Collins said, I agree with them. I don't think we should see color. You should abide by the law. You see how dangerous?
You're misrepresenting.
See how dangerous that is, though?
You're misrepresenting what I'm saying. This is why.
We'll clear it up because I'm ready.
Yeah, there's nothing to clear up. It's clear and uncut and it's factual, right? And like I said,
there's so many interpretations
for everybody out there right now, everybody out there with any race, I stand on everything I'm saying, right? I don't need Rebel to clean up nothing I'm saying. Look, there's two types of people, right? There's an ignorant one, and then there's somebody who isn't ignorant, period. Like, first of all, I don't want to be with somebody and the cops pull up on me that's cussing them out.
I don't either. I'm not saying
that. Okay,
bro.
Yes, you are. You're saying it's okay. You're saying our response. You're saying our response is okay.
No,
this is what you're saying.
I'm not. I say,
and then you're saying our response is okay. You're saying because we have been through as a people so much rage, so it's okay if we do get shot from the rage that we give these.
No,
cops.
I'm not saying that it's not okay.
That's what you're saying.
I'm asking both parties to take into consideration that there is going to be some stress in the relationship, historical relationship that cops and Black people of color have. Now, there's so many environmental, social factors and psychological factors that play a role in that.
None of that plays a role.
I explained all of it.
No, it doesn't. The environment, none of that. It's you as a person.
No.
Yes, it is.
No.
Okay.
No.
You got cop killers. No. Cop killers. You got police that kill Blacks in every city, everywhere. Environment does not. It is how you respond to these people.
No.
Okay. I mean, we have
different lenses.
We do, because see, I'm a Black man and you're a Black woman. The reaction that you get to the cops is a little bit different than the ones that they're going to get.
That's not true. You're generalizing again.
I'm telling you, and it's facts.
Generalization.
It's facts.
Sandra Bland was very bold in her approach.
What's the ratio of Black men to Black women incarcerated?
It's a lot of us incarcerated too. We're more incarcerated than any of our counterparts right now.
So,
and a lot of
I get that, but I'm saying amongst Black men and women, what's the ratio?
It's Black men.
It is Black men.
But I'm not denying that. You're not letting me finish.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm telling you, there needs to be. I'm not agreeing with you. I'm not agreeing against you. I'm saying there needs to be more information to be brought into this dialogue and
it's
conversation.
Simple. Don't do nothing foolish.
What you're asking is foolish is too broad of a term. So what I'm saying is a scripture. Do not do anything that's disrespectful, that's going to get you shot. This can get you shot. Yelling, being hypertensive, overbearing, moving impulsively. This causes a heightened sense to police officers who already have implicit bias, meaning unconscious bias, that you're a threat. You're big, you're Black, you're a threat, you're being loud, you're not listening, you're being insubordinate, all the other things. You moved, you had a gun, everything that they say that qualifies them to take your life. Do not do. Do not do. Now, you see how I was very descriptive?
I was descriptive. I told you that. I gave you examples. So this tells me you're not hearing what I'm saying. I gave you examples in the beginning of loud and irate people, right? That's an example. That's a description. I gave you an example of somebody having a gun. instead of telling the cop,
But
look,
they already
I'm a
think we're
legal
loud.
owner. I'm a legal owner of this gun that I'm carrying, instead of doing other things. You know what I'm saying? That's descriptive. So, you know, right now, in my mind, I feel like, you know, well, it ain't even that. Like I've been in the shoes of every black man driving around. I mean, I'm the epitome of it. I mean, I've been pulled over so many times I can't even describe.
So can I?
Have you ever had a
share
cop
something with
fired
you?
for trying to kill your mama?
No.
Well,
But
I have.
But
Okay,
I
I had police
someone-
come in my house and try to kill my mama.
Yeah, I understand. And
Facts.
That's trauma. But
So
I
can use all that trauma to get mad at that cop.
No,
Look,
it's not getting mad.
I'd have been beat by the police. I'd have been set up. Look, I almost caught a new case from the police, right? I should be one of the ones who has the most craziest trauma response. But when I see that cop, you know what I'm doing? I got my wallet on the dash, right? As soon as he comes, I'm not reaching.
So what are you doing?
I'm about to tell you. I got my wallet on the dash. He asked me for my hands on the wheel. You got your license and driver's license. Yeah, it's right there on the dash. Can I reach for it?
Can I say something?
Can I finish? So I go and reach for it. And look, I go and reach for it. And I show him my driver's license. I show him my ID. Guess what? Now, when I show him that information, right? Look, I'm hands on the wheel. I'm not giving him a reason to pop me. Okay, why? Because my trauma responses from before, when they're pulling guns on me for being 18 inches away from the sidewalk, is telling me I shouldn't be irate.
I get it. So, but what I'm telling you is I'm not disagreeing about any of that. Okay. I'm saying that there needs to be more information for our counterparts and people who don't know how it is to be Black, that what you're saying is the truth, but they need information behind it. So as an expert in trauma.
Well, I'm giving y'all the information.
As a specialist in
some
trauma,
people just not hearing the information that's been given.
As a specialist in trauma, I'm telling you the things that are happening. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying that understand a bit further why this may happen and do not react. That's what I'm asking the police for, is understand, have further trauma-informed training to understand that you're dealing with the oppressed individuals that believe historically the police are the enemy. They will take you out. So if you're dealing with someone who's just as programmed with as R. Collins is programmed to take his thing out, put his hand in TN2 and put his hands on the steering wheel, don't make any sudden movements. They have programmed us through fear. That is all Rebel Ray is saying. And that is the discussion that needs to be talked about.
It's wisdom.
That's survival mode. That's not wisdom. That's survival mode.
Well, we have two different opinions. You know what I mean? You know, and me being a Black man with a gun in my head, and I'm gonna tell you, the next time hopefully I don't have one to my head, that the police pull a gun on my head. But if they do, guess what? I'm gonna tell them everything they want to hear. This is why you got millions of people in the grave right now, because they're foolish. See, there's something that Nipsey Hussle.
It's not foolishness.
There's something that Nipsey Hussle's.
It's not foolishness.
There's something that Nipsey Hussle's one of his guys that said on a song. He said, "If you respond the wrong way, you can lose your life." This is what he said. You know how Nipsey Hussle died? Nipsey Hussle called a gangster, a known killer, a snitch. Which caused him to have a negative response and killed him. But instead of doing that, you know what Nipsey Hussle should have did? He should have said, "Man, I'm good," and went in the building. You think he would have been dead right now? No, he wouldn't have been. I'm
not disagreeing with any of your response.
I'm just saying.
I'm saying there needs to be more information behind it. We're going to move on because
let's move on.
That was some powerful dialogue right there.
I'm gonna keep
distinct, different personalities coming through. Because I've been pulled over while driving, while Black, jogging while Black, being a social worker in the hood. 3 times I've been pulled over. When I was pulled over in front of a client's house, or I was just in the hood because I do clinic work, you guys. I go out to the houses of my trauma victims. So yeah, I've been asked why I'm there, what business you have there. Those are the things I'm talking about. There has to be a change in the culture and the programming, even how Black people have to cower and have to not look master in the eye and have to not put
it's not cowering.
Put themselves at 10 and 2.
You're looking at that wrong, man.
It's an oppression state that is programmed into Black folks as fear mongering and to maintain control. Now, I am going to acknowledge some of you all don't have the skills to talk to the police in a very respectful manner to maintain order, because that's what their one thing is law and order. It's not competence. Some of y'all don't got those skills. So because y'all don't got those skills, 10 and 2, practice putting your wallet there, talking to the police officer, and don't be doing all of that. If you don't have the skill set, just do it like how you have to.
I see the
because guess what? It's survivor mode.
I'll take the.
You're in survivor mode.
I'll take the shots, y'all.
You're in survivor mode.
But I love Rebel, and I will tell you this, and I love our discussions. But I will say this, you know, I feel that it's not cowering. I feel that, you know, anybody who did this is a general thing. You know what I mean? If you go to a Crip neighborhood, wearing all red and disrespecting them, you're going to get the kind of response.
There's consequences
to that. It doesn't mean you're a coward because I don't go to it doesn't make me a coward for going to a red neighborhood wearing black. No, that's called being smart. Why? Because I want to live. I want to survive.
Some higher conscious understanding now. I'm not talking about survival mode. I'm talking about why do we have to?
I get it. And let's talk about that. Why do we have to do that? Why? Because slavery.
Erica talk about don't do that, Rachel. So Erica Stowers said, don't do it, Rachel.
So listen. Slavery was a little over 100 years ago. It wasn't that long ago.
Oh yeah, so it wasn't that long ago.
So we have to understand the current times. You see what I'm saying?
What's the current times? Because
you
debunked everything I said.
No, I really didn't. But I debunked what you because you feel that it is a form of weakness to use wisdom.
I didn't say that, bro.
Yeah, you said.
I did not say that, bro.
You said cowering. You used the word. I didn't say cowering.
What? Someone look up cowering in the definition because that's not weakness, bro. And so a little bit of your toxic masculinity is coming out. Let me tell you why.
Okay.
A little bit of your unhealed self is coming out.
I'm listening. I want to be healed.
Because they have programmed our Black men to emasculate them. They have tried to take their power. They have programmed them. When we say to talk to us, boy, in the tone we tell you in the delivery, you look us in the eye.
So what should we do then? How should we talk to the police?
We have to change the culture of the police.
That's not going to happen.
How should we infiltrate them?
That's not going to happen. How should we talk to the police?
You're talking to somebody
because you're talking about giving the definitive information about a certain subject. You're only giving one side.
Can I say something?
How should we? I gave a reason on how.
You're dismissing my social justice perspective.
I'm not.
You're dismissing my work in the community because guess what?
I'm not. You do very well.
The culture of policing is changing. It's not going to change in our lifetime. We have about 50 years till
we're talking about our lifetime.
The next epiphany of man comes where they understand that just because you hold power does not make you have a right to take a life.
So how do we talk to the police? And how do we talk to the police in a way where we're not demasculated, like you said, as Black men, and we're not cowering in front of the police? How do we do that?
So someone sent me the definition of cower.
No.
Let me finish.
Okay.
Cower is a verb. Okay. Crouch down in fear. Children cower in terror as the shootout erupted. Cower.
You're afraid. You're a scaredy cat.
It doesn't say anything about weakness. So anybody can cower. You could be a king on a throne, but if somebody is throwing a dart at you, you're going to cower and get down.
Do you want to debate that? Do you want to debate that?
It didn't say anything.
It didn't have to, but we can give definitions of it. A coward is a weak person.
I didn't say coward. I said cower.
Cowering.
As verb, action.
And listen, cower.
You can still cower and still feel like you're in power.
Yeah, cowering is an action word because you're doing something, guess what?
Good job.
Good
job. I'm not arguing with that.
I get it. And you're weak while you're doing it. What makes you weak?
A little bit toxic masculinity is coming out.
Toxic masculinity.
So the definition, the theory around toxic masculinity is that this Western culture has taught us that our men cannot cry, they cannot show weakness, they cannot show certain things because they'll be seen as first, not cream of the crop. Who wants to have a baby by somebody who's a coward, right? Mm-hmm. This whole, they're not good to even mate with, right? They're not real men. And then you have this whole gender thing that you have going on, right? You're not man enough. Hard. Right. You know, and then you have pop culture and you have social economics and certain jobs you should go after that shape your masculinity. Okay. And so when you say immediately when your mind went to weak, that is a survival mechanism that was told to you very young that you got to present a certain way so you won't be seen as weak. I didn't say anything about our black man being weak. Hold on, my brother. Answer the question that I asked you. Okay. So how should we respond? I'm an how should we respond to the police, right? And not be a coward at the same time. So you're maintaining eye contact. You're what I said. You're being not in your emotional. Okay, mind. That's what I said too. Go ahead. Okay. I'm listening. We're agreeing on that. Yeah. Okay. You're not being in your emotional mind. You're being in your wise mind. You're not even being in your that too. You're not even being in your logical mind, right? Maintaining a respectful attitude. Oh, wow. If there is a disagreement, right? You're not going to let whatever biases or things that come out, you're going to handle it on the back end. Now, so that's not did anybody hear that Rebel said that I agree with everything R. Collins is saying? R. Collins didn't say I said it. I said we needed more information and to be very careful how you generalize things that you try to say about black people because it's feeding, I'm black. I'm going to generalize implicit bias. And guess what? You have some unconscious bias. Or Collins, you say a lot. I do. I do. And I agree. I have so don't let Rebel break it down. You do too. Though. I get it. Don't throw the rock. Don't throw the rock and hide the stone now. What biases I have? Well, you have biases of saying that black men pretty much should are cowards if we, you know what I mean? We're cowering if we are. That. But you just kind of contradicted yourself right now because you said be respectful. This is what I said. I said, listen, I put my wallet on. I don't cuss them out. I don't do none of that. Can I say something? Okay, go ahead. That's what brought me to cower. Your whole programming of how you get ready for the police. Now that's a scare tactic. It's a survival mode tactic. It is, and it's a trauma response. So it is. So everybody. So if that's okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Everybody don't get ready for that. Here's Darren. Now, why'd you pull me over? You know good. Well, I was supposed to go through that light. You have people who are able to talk to the police in any way they want to, and not have to feel the fear. We all get that. And the post and that post and PTSD. We've seen that over and over and over again through history. So all I'm saying, as the social worker, the social justice, we should do what other people do. Don't talk for me or interrupt. Okay, go ahead. Or interfere with what my thought process is. Okay, I'm saying it's not right. It's not right that you have to have a simulated response to keep yourself alive. That is not right. It isn't right. And the agree. Black man, that's all I'm saying. The black man has to cower when really the black man see, there you go. You said a cowering. We are not cowering as black men doing that. We're being wise. We got wives to come home to. We got kids, sons to come home to, Rebel. Like, so why would we sit there and do something foolish that won't allow us to come home the next day? I'm not saying that, my brother. I want you to come home the next day, and I want you to be very smart and strategic and methodical on how to come home. I'm saying philosophically, let's go a little bit higher on conscious level, okay? I don't need you to stay in the middle surface because you're almost there. You almost caught what I was saying. Okay, likewise. Behind the scenes, not the surface, there should be a philosophical, moral, ethical conduct that happens between a law enforcement person and a citizen, and it should all look alike.
It should.
And
I agree.
it's not.
But it doesn't.
And that's what I fight for. And I hate the fact that our Black men have been emasculated. They have been told that they're someone who can be replaced. They have been sold. And some of that same ideology is passed down. Some of that trauma response, cowering, not saying you're a coward. I said cowering, can't look a person in the eye. That whole
I look everybody in the eye.
Okay, but
as a Black man.
Okay.
It's just,
having to
I can't believe you're saying what you're saying.
You're getting stuck on coward because you're looking at it weakness, and I'm not calling my Black man weak. I'm saying that it's not nice that our Black men have to assimilate and have to survive certain ways. That's not fair. Okay, so let me bring it to the Black woman. We have to assimilate our Afro hair to more white accepting hair sometimes. We bleach our skin. To get to certain levels, we have to be seen as and not a powerful woman. We're seen as a B word when we assert ourselves. We're seen as hypersexual as Black women. We're seen as sex symbols in American culture.
How is it that you guys are victims, but we're cowardly?
No.
Because
I said in that moment, that's your coward.
Everything that you're mentioning is victimizing.
In that moment, I said you're cowardly.
A Black woman.
So guess what we have to do? You didn't let me finish. I'm just describing all the stuff we have to go through. In those moments, we cower too. We have to sometimes play down our intellect to get a job, to get an entry-level job, knowing that. You ever seen Hidden Colors? Did you see Hidden Colors?
No.
Beautiful story of the three the three astrological engineers.
Oh yeah, I did. I saw that. Yeah.
And a lot of them were Tahari P. Henson I forgot what doctor she played, but she was spicy.
I liked her in that.
I loved her in that movie.
I really did.
She did a award performance. But it really showed the dynamics on how they had to be. They couldn't be their soulful self that they was in the neighborhood, right? They had to be something that they had chose to be. And we often use code switching. And I often have to do it because I'm not accepted. My nails, my hair. That's why when I told you all, I will be starting as a professor teaching at a major university here in California, that I wasn't changing my hair. I wasn't changing my makeup. There were things that we had to do to be accepted. And I hope this dialogue, this back and forth even shows you how much confusion it still is in the Black community. How sometimes Black women feel unprotected because y'all don't realize some of the same things that y'all are doing. We got to do it too. Mm-hmm. We got to do it to be accepted in the workplace. We got to do it to be seen that, she's not ghetto. She's not Shaniqua. She really is educated.
We all have our things that we deal with on our level between both sexes, with Black men and Black women in different ways. But it is all the same thing, you know what I mean, that we all deal with, and I feel that you're making you're making some good points with what you're saying, and I believe that anybody who understands what I'm saying is going to hear what I'm saying as well. I think that in my mind, I think that you have to kind of be in that position to understand. Like a Black woman would never understand what it is to be a Black man. Never. You know what I mean? Just like a Black man would never understand what it's like being a Black woman. We don't want to mix that up. You know what I'm saying? Because I think sometimes we put that in the same pool, and we have different things that we experience in regards to racism on our end, and you guys on yours. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Us from a masculine perspective, and you all from a feminine one.
Yeah, and that's the balance, right? There's the yin and yang, balance of the goddess and the goddess. Whoever believes in ancient Kemet believes, right? They believe that the woman has the man's back. is the support of the man, is pushing the man towards whatever he chooses to reign over, right? Is a support as a partnership, not for the man to just reign over and not support. But sometimes these dialogues and this communication happens within the Black family unit. There's different belief systems that happen. There's different roles that had to be played. Me, the role I play various roles in my family being a single mom. And a lot of times we're seeing these reoccurring trends happening in the social environments, the biopsychosocial trauma being passed down, ways that we did things. Okay, we didn't ever have a daddy. My mama didn't have a daddy, and my mama's mama didn't have a daddy, but we made things happen. So when the third generation gets married, she has to learn all the things that weren't really passed down to her, that was held as a hierarchy of things you need to pass down to your children, information. So a lot of times just taking all that in consideration, that's culture. On top of the whole Black culture thing, we have cultures of our household that are passed down. So you've been told, what I'm going to tell Amir is a little bit different. I'm still telling him that because I want him to survive and come back to me. Okay. And I teach my young Black men that. I've been asked by the chief of police, the assistant chief of police, not to tell our Black men that. In our talks, in our coalition meetings. He's saying that it pushes that implicit bias that they have to act that way. And don't tell them to do that. And I'm like, safety first. What are you talking about? My mind goes there. Safety first. We want our Black children and our Black and brown children to come home safe. So we teach them, roll down the windows, show all your hands, tell your friends not to do no movements, put your wallet up here where you can reach it, and don't do no certain movements until the police understands you are not a threat. We tell them that, but that's still survival mode. That's not right. They have to go through that.
It is not right that we have to go through that at all.
Yeah.
But since we do, let's abide by it, okay? I mean, until some of this shadiness in the police system can filter out, if it ever does. Because, I'm not worried about me or what I'm going to do. I'm worried about what you're going to do legally.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
And I'm going to give you that. You're thinking safety, mama's thinking education. I'm thinking education. I'm thinking about how do I change this for my grandchildren? I do not want my grandchildren to have to cower and have to not look the police in the eye and be scared.
I look everybody in the eye.
I start teaching Maya that the police was behind us. Now, mind you, I'm not a felon. I'm not a criminal. But it has just been taught to me. When the police is, make sure you got your seatbelt on, make sure the tags is right, make sure the kids is all, but we all together. Yeah. We ain't doing nothing we ain't supposed to be doing. Why is that programming being taught to us?
Yes, it is because we see who they're targeting. And if you go into any prison, like the prisons I've been in, 95% of the prisons I've been in outside of a place called Susanville, there are 200 to 300 Blacks and 30 whites. 30. I count. One day I sat there on the yard and counted all of them. And then I counted us. There were 30 whites and like 200 and something Blacks. So me as a Black man, right, understanding this, right, and I'm seeing, look, we are being arrested in droves for whatever. Like at this moment, you can really mess my life up. I don't have a badge. I have felonies. If you have felonies like I got 15 felonies, 1 strike. I have to, you can call it cowering. You can call it.
He's still stuck cowering on.
You can call it whatever you want to call it.
With everything he was saying.
I got 3 kids.
Oh, Lord.
I got 3 kids. I got to come back home to a wife. You know what I mean? A family.
I did not call him weak.
So that in my mind,
your mind.
No, it is very real. When you say certain things, you have to put it in the category and where it's at. I'm not seeing any category where cowering. I feel like when you use the word cowering and you use the word fear in the same sentence, I can't help but to think of one thing. And then you're saying not looking at police in their eyes. Yeah. Like I look at the police in their eyes. Okay. I look just like I look at any man. Okay. But like I said again,
some people feel like they cannot look authority.
Okay, well that's not me.
Eyes. You're still applying You're generalizing, and I'm telling you not to generalize. And I'm not saying
this is I'm individualizing it right now.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
saying
what I'm
me
saying. Why?
because everybody
Why are you?
is not me.
Exactly.
Everybody don't think like me. I'm not no follower. Never have. I'm not the type of person because everybody says that this is the narrative. I'm gonna flow with that. No, I'm going with what makes logical sense.
Yes.
And when God gives me an idea spiritually on what I feel is the right thing to do in this situation, I think I'm going to use wisdom and do that.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with me.
I'm not doubting your wisdom.
Not wanting to look master in the eyes, or me as a black man feeling like I have to program myself to bow down to these people. Okay. No, because I can drive up, hand on the car, blunt in my mouth, and holler at them. I could do it. But I choose not to. It's a choice.
You're kind of mixing up emotional intelligence and how to conduct yourself as a law-abiding citizen with a whole programming where they teach you to fear them. So because your perspective is going to be a little bit different. I fear no man.
I don't fear no man.
Okay, I said a program.
No woman, nobody.
I said it was a programming that is taught to our young black kids. So stop applying it to yourself. Let me finish.
I have to because I represent the black. I represent black men. I'm a black man. I have to speak for this.
You represent
with the
some
mic.
Black men. Just
I'm a black man with the mic.
I may represent some black women with my view, but not all.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true. Okay. But you're a black woman, right? Created in the image and glory of God. Okay. Everybody can't say they're a black woman.
But you're making.
I can't say I'm a black woman.
Loose associations now. We're going to move on because we can go here and dialogue back and forth.
We can, and you know, and the sun will come up on this one. I'm telling you, because when you use words like cowering.
Shout out to Vernell Graves. She was harding it up. Vernell. Shout out to Samuel Reeve. Shout out to Sean Thompson.
Yes. Thank
Sean,
you.
Thank you. If we look at Mike's childhood, meaning Michael Jackson in stages of Erickson's psychosocial development. He never made it past stage 3 or 4. So it reflected in his adult life. And I certainly have to agree with that, along with childhood trauma that really shapes perception and minds and why you act the way you act and the personality you have and the imagination that he allowed to run wild because that was his ability to cope with all of the memories, the trauma. He had a mad imagination. That's why he was a great creative genius. It's like the trauma was the catalyst for his imagination because his imagination he would escape through. This is why it manifested into things like
his death.
No, his LA.
Oh, okay.
His LA ranch.
Neverland.
Right? Him being obsessed with the whole story of being
Peter Pan
and all of that. So sometimes that childlike trauma will come up and it will manifest itself into adulthood. And that's what Sean Thompson, shout out to Sean Thompson.
Shout out, bro.
The nurse to you, she's a nurse. She was on last week talking about our good eating habits and body dysmorphia and how we struggle with that.
That was a good subject.
That was.
I really like talking about that.
I don't know what Roy Holmes was talking about with what is it? Double hockey sticks. Double hockey sticks. I don't know what Roy Holmes was talking about. But shout out to Roy Holmes. He is the founder and the creator of Rotten Banana, one of our good friends. So shout out to him. And shout out to Erica Stallworth.
Oh, he spelled it wrong. He was saying Malachi was the. Mordecai. He was trying to say Mordecai.
Okay.
He was trying to say because you said Esther was the pimp. He said Mordecai.
Mordecai.
Yeah.
See again, you got the divine feminine and the divine masculine comes into this energy, and we're like alphas, right? So
she's alpha, I'm alpha.
Sometimes we go boom, 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 boom.
Y'all should see us behind the scenes sometimes.
And I'll be like, boom, and he'd be like, boom, and I'll be like, we gonna rock here, just stay here for a moment. And I guess that last dialogue was bad, huh? That was interesting. How you didn't let up on that.
I wouldn't let up on that.
Dug into your canines on that one, like,
I did, and I normally don't do that, but I had to. Well, you too, and I had to. I had to.
Wait, Marcel said, just give it up. Just go with it. Marcel said,
I feel, but
he said he wanted me to sing something. You got to get the other song.
no.
Yes, he did. He wanted us to sing "We Are the World," and then he said Andre was singing "The Man in the Mirror." So you sing "Man in the Mirror" as we close out, and I'm gonna sing "We Are the World."
I like "We Are the World."
No, you gotta get the "Man in the Mirror."
Okay.
Can you get it? You better look at the lyrics, because if you murder the lyrics, bro.
Do you know all the lyrics to "We Are the World"?
I know one chorus because I was in show tunes. Long story short, I was in all that in high school stuff. I was the weird kid, right? And everything. I just like to do stuff. So we sung that. We are the world.
Don't pump her up, Marcel.
We are the children.
Oh my goodness.
We are the ones to make a brighter day. So let's just give in. There's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. We choose to make a better day. Just you and me.
Yay! Okay.
Drops the mic.
She murdered the lyrics.
Out of here, y'all.
She said, she murdered the lyrics.
I did murder the lyrics a little bit, but you sure don't know that Man in the Mirror. That's a difficult
I'm a
piece.
Mike fan. Look, y'all.
Okay, come on, because you the one got the voice.
I don't.
Drop that.
I really don't.
Drop that R. Collins. R. Collins. Come on, y'all. Heard it up. R. Collins.
Like, comment, subscribe. We love y'all so much. You know what I mean? We love.
I'm singing it myself. And I'm looking at the man in the mirror.
Hey, that song was a little creepy. Like,
it was.
I'm gonna keep it real.
He was really self-actualization.
Yeah, I was like the man in the mirror.
Self-actualizing, and he was looking at himself and like, oh no, is there an inner child in there who's crying?
You know somebody's interesting when you spend hours
talking about him.
Of watching documentary time on them.
Yeah,
I used to just spend hours, just like Tupac. Like I spent hours in wasting my life watching Tupac for hours.
Bro. Don't ever disrespect Tupac like that, bro. I wouldn't let this disrespect you. If you left covers and albums and you left this prison.
I love Pac. I mean, like,
don't ever disrespect Pac. What is wrong with you, R. Collins?
She gonna try to grill me. I love Pac for the record. Pac is,
so
you know what I mean.
Genius.
Yeah, but I will say this: like, y'all don't even understand. Like, I would say, and then I was incarcerated with people that knew Pac. That was worse.
Yeah, one day we're gonna talk about our celebrity challenge and the people we've met.
I met a lot of people
over time.
You met a lot of people.
Yeah, I met a lot of people. I remember, and we're gonna say this in closing.
Okay.
That's why you don't listen to people, right? Because the first baby daddy I ever wanted in my life, before I even just was into guys, right? I've always been into guys. I don't know, that sounded kind of funny, but I was more into sports and academia. I was into that, like going all the way into college.
I want to know.
And I was kind of a tomboy. But my baby daddy, my husband, who was gonna be my baby daddy, my husband? And I finally got.
What year?
I finally got to meet him.
What year?
Okay. Well, it was two of them, and then I dropped the other one for him. So it was Shamar Moore.
Everybody was on him at that.
And it was genuine until his teeth started falling out.
He lost his teeth. You lying? I saw a flyer. Oh, he wasn't smiling.
I ain't gonna talk about nobody, Jesus.
No,
but
really?
Yeah, he be on that Coca-Cola. So things happen.
What?
You know that? We ain't gonna talk about it.
Not
this
genuine.
This is not the Wendy Williams show. I am Rebel Ray. We're not gonna gossip like that. So, as we got older, like things started to dwindle on. But
on the Coca-Cola,
I need you to hold it together.
A1 Yoma.
Low.
Man.
White shirt don't care.
Damn.
Coke on coke. Hello, somebody. White girl, go through my mind.
See, everybody don't know. They don't understand. See, look, you got that's that 1970 disco with the disco ball.
White girl.
Oh my God.
Goes through my mind.
All right, y'all, listen.
Hey, I was supposed to to be saying something though.
Oh, good.
Man, you just look at you
My
just
bad.
dismissed me today.
I didn't know. You sound what you were singing.
So what I was saying was the love of my life.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot that.
We're back on that because we were talking about the celebrities we met.
Yeah.
The love of my life, Common Justice.
Wait, what?
Common.
Oh, Common.
And guess who got to meet Common? Common. Hug him and kiss him and give him flowers. But she did not introduce me. My daughter. My daughter Amaya. So I'm down in the concert. And I'm like, he was here. He was doing a movement.
I like his
Justice
music.
movement. Yeah, it's
You know
really
what I mean?
full of common justice. And I'm like, Maya, bring him home to your mama. And she's just like, oh, with the
She was like,
flowers.
I'm gonna bring him home to me.
And I'm like, Maya, tell him your mama wants to meet him. Like,
she's like, I only care about me right
guess who
now.
he ended up falling in love with? He ended up falling in love with a lot of people. But guess who he ended up?
Venus?
No.
Serena?
No. That's way over.
Oh, okay. I'm
way
lost.
over.
I was like,
He is with Tiffany Haddish now.
And she
And
No,
Tiffany
you are
is-
not. No. He is not
Tiffany
with
is
Tiffany.
more. People be like, Rachel, you be acting like Tiffany Haddish. And I'll be like, Rebel Ray was around before
Listen.
Tiffany. And he picked Tiffany Haddish. And that's why
Really?
you don't listen to people. You don't listen to people. You be
Yeah,
like,
because you
shoot
gotta,
your
you
shot.
gotta shoot your shot.
He don't
You really-
never look like he
Tiffany
would deal with
Haddish
somebody.
for real?
But she
I would have.
she's
That's
super woke.
a
She's super
mix.
woke and driven, right?
That's like
Hey,
two
down
opposites for me. Like,
Thank you.
how does that work?
Thank you.
It's like water and
And
oil.
so that's why, listen, ladies,
Electricity.
shoot that shot. Okay, you never know. You might be wild for him in 1999. Let 10 years go by. He'll dwindle down. Come back to him in 2009. If 2009 don't work, do another 10 years and hit him in 2019. If 2019 don't work, hit him another 20 years in 2029.
I never saw
And
that.
ladies,
Coming.
y'all got 5 more years to get your lives together. Go shoot your shot.
That just blew me away. I would have never thought that. Wow.
Go shoot your shot.
That's why I've been
This was
saying.
a fun podcast. Like,
Yeah.
we debated like
Yeah.
politics, social
We've
economics,
been
framing, generalizations.
Yeah.
And then we talked about a little bit of just quirky stuff. I like stuff. I like that.
Look, we give
dialogue.
you guys the real deal stuff. You know
All
what I
day
mean?
long.
All as much as we can. You know what I mean? And when we do eventually move this to the other studio, we're going to be bringing a ton of guests in.
Sure.
We're gonna have a bunch of fun.
Yeah.
and
Set that atmosphere.
yeah, the atmosphere, and that's all we do. We like to have fun, and we want to help people towards becoming successful and setting goals to grow and become the best you that you can be.
For sure. That's against all odds.
That's against all odds.
So plug that information. We can go on and on today. It was one of those things.
I didn't even think
Meet
I could
us-
talk this much today. Honestly, I was
That's
like,
what's
I just
up.
want to get in and out.
No, it's cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad. We always mesh. We love each other, y'all. If y'all felt a little constraint, it's okay. We still love each other.
We do.
We're
We
not going to tear each other's heads off. No.
do. Yeah. Hey, she's just saying that. She beats me off air. FYI.
Stop before we get a Karen. I heard it. I heard our college.
That was a cry for
It
help.
was a
by the
cry
way.
for help. It was a cry for help. Somebody reach out to him. Tell her. Tell her.
Beats me.
She,
She beats me. I don't want to tell her, right, Rebel? She beats me.
talking about weak. Now I beat you.
Yes.
You
beat
would
me.
not get over the whole coward thing, but now I beat you. Stop it.
See,
This is this mess I keep telling you guys about that we have to deal with in the podcast.
hey,
Being crazy with flies and crickets and worms. Y'all don't
I
know
can't
about
believe you
it.
posted that. Look at that fly. I hate flies, you guys. Flies. Listen,
That was
let a
so
fly be in
funny
my
to me.
atmosphere. I am disturbed. Okay.
Disturbed, appalled.
Listen, I
you-
can't do it.
Like you had the audacity to land on my laptop and walk across it. You must die. I'm
That-
like, oh, practice
I get
a
the
little zen.
heebie-jeebies. Like,
Listen to me. I'm like, practice a little zen. Just let it. It's all living things. Let it go. You're like, no, it got to die.
it kept coming back. I want to let it go. It want to come back. I'm like, listen. Hey, another
Let the
thing.
fly.
I don't.
Live, let the fly live.
I don't like flies.
Hashtag let the fly live.
Let it live.
Hashtag let the fly live.
Can we get
hashtag AAO?
Can we get a hashtag let the fly live? If y'all want the next fly, hopefully that ain't the next one, to live, y'all let us know. Okay. You know another thing that bothers me?
Oh my God.
Seagulls.
Oh my God. We're not about to get into it, y'all.
I'm telling you.
We're at the 2 hour point.
I gotta tell you this before we leave.
Oh my God.
I do not look like it ain't the seagull itself, it's when they ruffle their feathers. How they lift them up. Oh, just thinking about it. Oh, like I don't like everybody got their thing, right?
It's so funny.
I promise you, I don't like that.
He has a lot of textile like environmental triggers. It's so funny. Like anything that touches his tongue the wrong way, anything. He's like, it's so funny to see it in the family. And I don't know, we appreciate all the energy that comes into our atmosphere when we're around the dinner table, we're laughing and we're chopping it up and enjoying. Like you really get to know people. It's funny. So
well, you know, we've been here for a while, y'all. You know, we appreciate y'all joining us every week.
For sure.
You know what I mean? You know, we are trying to beat the odds. We're trying to empower people at People's Empowerment Center. You know, we're trying to do great things, you know, and build and be business minded. You know, and we want you to do it too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we want to share our journey with you guys, and we will share our journey with you guys as we grow. We want you to grow. We want you to be the best you can be.
For sure. So I think we're done because I think we've been over talking now.
Yeah, y'all probably tired of us right now.
Like, share, subscribe,
comment. Please hit the notification bell.
Thank you.
So that know. Share. The 2 hour feed. Okay. All right. All right. Love y'all. See y'all later, man. Have a good